What up? What up? How we doing today? Hope y'all doing well. We back in here for another one. I'm your host, J Pop, and we got some things going on today. There's always something, you know what I'm saying? There's always something going on out here. We have the residents in Cobb County reject suicide after a body was found in the woods, man. So we're going to look at that story. Unvaccinated Georgians diagnosed with measles. Uh-oh. So more measles news coming up. Edric Faust guilty in 2001 killing of Tara Baker. Also we're going to be looking at what these lawmakers are doing in the Capitol, day 21. I think that was yesterday. No, that's today. That's today. Day 21 at the Capitol. Let's see what they were talking about. Social circle plans. That warehouse and social circle that we've been keeping up with. Yeah. ISIS submitted their plans for that warehouse. So we'll take a quick look at that. And then airlines are canceling flights, meaning Hartsfield Jackson is canceling flights to Mexico after the death of a Mexican cartel giant. So we got some interesting things to look at. Let's take a look at some of this stuff, y'all. Starting with our first one. Residents say they are not convinced at all after a body is found in Cobb County. So we'll take a look at this and see what this is about. Still, days after his body was discovered, some residents continue to believe they are still not convinced. A vigil is planned Tuesday to honor a 21-year-old man whose death in Marietta Park continues to raise questions for some in the community. The Cobb County Police Department said the death of Kyle Bazinga has been ruled a suicide after his body was found in a wooded area of Fair Oaks Park. Still, days after his body was discovered, some residents are saying they are still not convinced. 4 days after Benzinga was found in the park, people visiting that have been there before said they are still searching for answers. One resident told 11 Alive, somebody had to see something. Somebody had to hear something, and everything and everybody is just quiet about it. Adding that while anything is possible, do I believe throughout the history of this country that that young black man did that to himself? I'm going to say no. And that would be smart of you to say. Community members are now planning a gathering to remember Basinga. The New Order National Human Rights Organization is organizing a vigil at the park Tuesday at 11 a.m. Gerald Rose with the organization said the case felt personal to him. I have to say something because this is my backyard, he said. I can't be an activist and say and something just took place in my own backyard and not say nothing. Ooh, that's him right there. Rest in peace. Police said their investigation found no evidence of foul play and that Benzinga's death has been ruled a suicide. Even so, Rose said many people simply want clarity about what happened. We all do understand that we don't know what happened, Rose said. It's just the fact that something did happen. A young man lost his life, and we just want to make sure we get to the bottom of this. He also said the community wants Benzinga's family to know they have support. Whether it's suicide or whatever, I know they are concerned about their child, but I want them to know the black community is concerned as well, Rose said, that we care. Benzinga's family addressed speculation about the case in a statement. Right now, online speculation is the least of our worries. We are focused on burying our son, and happy, and I am happy to have found him. The visual Tuesday is expected to bring community members together to remember Benzinga and share support for his family. So that's what's going on there. Sad story that happened in Cobb. Fair Oaks Park. Keep my eye out, because that is an interesting part of this state, y'all. Marietta, all of that up there, Cobb County. Interesting things happen over there all the time. But yeah, that's that. Oh man, something else is opening. All right, moving on. Unvaccinated Georgia resident diagnosed with measles. I guess just one guy. Measles is a highly contagious disease that spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. The Georgia Department of Public Health has confirmed a case of measles in an unvaccinated resident of Bryan County, Georgia. Health officials said the individual has no history of international travel or recently traveled out of state. The department is notifying people who may have been exposed and who could be at increased risk of developing the virus. Measles is a highly contagious disease that spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes. According to health officials, the virus can remain in the air or on surfaces for up to 2 hours after an infected person leaves an area. Symptoms typically appear 7 to 14 days after exposure and can include a high fever, cough, runny nose, and watery eyes. A rash of small red spots usually follows, beginning on the head and spreading to the rest of the body. Health officials say the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine is the best protection against the disease. The CDC and the Center of Disease Control and Prevention recommends children receive their first dose between 12 and 15 months of age and a second dose between 4 and 6 years old. Infants aged 6 to 11 months who are traveling internationally are advised to receive an early dose before travel, followed by 2 additional doses after their first birthday. More than 95% of people who receive a single dose of the vaccine develop immunity to measles, mumps, and rubella, according to health officials. A second dose increases protection to about 98%. Vaccination also helps protect people who cannot receive the vaccine for medical reasons. Anyone who develops symptoms consistent with measles should contact their health care provider before going to a doctor's office, hospital, or public health clinic to avoid potentially exposing others. Healthcare providers who suspect measles are asked to notify public health officials immediately. This is the second measles case reported in Georgia in 2026. The state confirmed 10 cases in 2025. So we covered the first. We actually covered that. And now we see there's another case. So there is more than 12 cases, though, that's been reported, I think. I think we've had at least 6 this year. But I'm not quite sure. This one says 2, but I don't know if I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I would have to go and do a little bit more research on that. But it's gearing up, y'all. They're in the hundreds and hundreds of cases in South Carolina, so I'm sure it's gonna be an ordeal coming up here. All right, moving on. Edric Faust, guilty on all accounts in Tara Baker's murder. Tara Baker was a 23-year-old law student at UGA at the time she was found dead inside her burnt apartment. The jury found Edric Faust guilty on all accounts. That's crazy, with a name like Faust. In the 2001 killing of University of Georgia law student Tara Baker. Faust faced 12 counts, including malice murder and felony murder, rape, burglary, and arson. Good gracious. The jury began deliberating on Monday afternoon and reached its verdict around 1:20 p.m. On Tuesday, Faust showed no emotion, shaking his head as the judge polled the jury. The judge set Faust's sentencing for Thursday at 3 p.m. We are grateful to the jurors who carefully examined the evidence and fulfilled their duty with seriousness and integrity, the Baker's family said in a statement. We are grateful to the investigators and prosecutors who continue to pursue this case across decades. We are especially thankful for the work of the Western Judicial Circuit's District Attorney's Office for their commitment to seeing this case resolved. We also want to thank the many friends and advocates, supporters, and community members who stood beside us and helped ensure Tara's life and story were never forgotten. Her life mattered. Her pursuit of justice mattered, and both continue to matter. We are grateful for this resolution after more than 25 years of searching for the truth. The trial had been ongoing for about 2 weeks in Athens, where Tara Baker was a 23-year-old law student at UGA at the time she was found dead in her burnt apartment 25 years ago. When police arrived, they found Baker had been stabbed in the neck with a computer printer cord around her neck. Wow. They also found the knife used to kill her. The medical examiner found the stab wound severed her jugular vein and that she was strangled and hit on the head. There was also evidence of a sexual assault. Athens Clark County Police Department announced the arrest of 48-year-old Faust in 2024, charging him with Baker's murder after a renewed investigation. During the prosecution's closing arguments, the defense objected, and then there was some commotion in the courtroom. The judge warned those watching that outbursts wouldn't be tolerated. Your job is not to seek out doubt, it is to seek out truth. And the truth in this case is that Mr. Faust is guilty of each of the offenses for which he is charged in the indictment, the prosecution said in closing arguments. Meanwhile, the defense tried to poke holes in the investigation into Baker's death. The state presented no evidence that Mr. Faust's DNA means murder. The state presented no evidence that Mr. Faust's DNA means rape. The state presented no evidence that Mr. Faust's DNA means burglary. The state presented no evidence that Mr. Faust's DNA means arson or any of the other charges that they charged him with in this indictment, the defense stated. The cold case trial has heard testimony from Baker's friends and associates, including her then boyfriend Chris Melton, as well as investigators and witnesses recalling long ago accounts and evidence. Assistant District Attorney Chris Bolden told the jury in opening statements that they would see what he called very grisly evidence in Baker's death that would lead them to conclude the defendant Eric Faust is guilty of her murder. Eric Faust killed Tara Baker. Eric Faust set her house on fire. Initially, the rape kit did not find any evidence of semen or other male DNA. However, in 2023, the rape kit was resubmitted, and a few months later, a DNA profile was found to match Faust. The odds that the DNA belongs to another person, Bolden said, were 1 in 800 quadrillion. Wow. Defense attorney Ahmad R. Cruz told the jury that prosecutors could not prove how Faust got into the home or how he was able to leave the home without any witnesses seeing him. Faust himself did not testify in his own defense. And that's all we got for that one, man. That's an interesting case, but man, 2001, that's wild. I'm glad they stuck to it though. They stuck to it and they got him. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's interesting. A lot be happening in Athens over there on UGA's campus, y'all. Goodness. All right, so let's look at this. Day 21 of lawmakers. Senate Dems introduce voting rights bill. House okays auto-related bills. Lupus Day. And House pops up purple dotted the chamber as members who wore capes for Lupus Advocacy Day. The annual event brings attention to lupus warriors battling this invisible disease. Today is Lupus Advocacy Day, and I am standing here recognizing the greatest group of people that fight every day to get up out of their beds, to go to work, contribute to this state, and become active citizens for their families that are struggling but are overcoming and champions for lupus. Very nice. That's very cool. Let's get down to some of the nitty gritty. Um, let's see. One bill actually discourages passing. House Bill 1161 clarifies and codifies the practice of yielding the right of way to emergency vehicles during traffic stops. This bill simply clarifies that for traffic stops, drivers should move towards the right-hand curb of the road, away from traffic if safe to do so. This is something most in this situation already do. And many, including law enforcement, have assumed that it's codified, but Georgia courts have actually said it's not, and that's led to some confusion and differential treatment. And this is a thing because I always do this. If I see an emergency vehicle coming up behind me, in front of me, beside me, now if it's beside me, depending on which side, I'm not going to be able to, pull off to the right hand side. But I see a lot of people, they don't really stop. They just don't. They just keep going like they are the emergency. Like it's wild. But moving on. Of course, that bill passed. It just makes sense. It's already part of the law. Like it's like part of how you learn how to drive. Like they hand you that little driver book. I know they did me when but this was way back in the day. They handed us that little driver book, and you read what's going on in that driver book, and then after you learn how to, the rules of the road, then you get in and you drive. I actually had like a driving class, so they gave me the book and I had the class, and then I got my restrictive. I think it was it was like a provisional license at first for 6 months, and then it turned into an actual restrictive license. So the provisional was like or maybe it was vice versa. I can't remember which one. I think maybe the restrictive license came first and then the provision, but I'm not sure. But one was you had to drive with somebody, and then after 6 months, it was like I could drive up until a certain time of the day. So like from 9 in the morning to 7 at night, or 8 at night, or something like that. I don't know. It was interesting how they did that. Another automotive bill received unanimous passage. House Bill 1181 reduces red tape around vehicle title applications. I think we talked about this one too. A utility bill came up on the House floor, the kind of utility bill consumers were like. House Bill 1027 extends ratepayer protections. This is an electric utility ratepayer protection bill. What this bill does is it allows the members of the Municipal Electric Authority of Georgia to enter into retail electric sale contracts that are validated by Superior Court judge for a period of 20 years. Current code only allows that for 10 years. Okay. This extends that to 20 years to allow for protections of the ratepayers. Okay, interesting. It passed. A judicial retirement benefits bill. Really? These people just go up there and they just, how can we make the rich already richer? Like, how can we make them more money? Like, we got to do it. It's crazy. Judicial retirement benefits. Oh my gosh. Of course, this is going to pass unanimously. Nobody's going to say no to this. Consistent with retirement ages being at 65, and for consistency within the judicial code, this would just increase when the retirement for DAs would be eligible, meeting the other eligibility requirements. Okay, okay. Seeks to increase the retirement age for district attorneys to 65 to match the age raise already made for judges. Okay, I guess that makes sense. That does make sense. Um, you would think it would be a given, but I guess it's not. Got a lot of things that need to be just wrapped up at the ends. We got some loose ends here. The Senate gavelled in and conducted routine business and then gavelled out for the day. But Senate Democrats held a press conference in the morning promoting Senate Bill 536, a state voting rights bill that would set up safeguards against voter suppression and create a voting rights commission. Protections, they say, are needed after recent Supreme Court rulings that have eroded the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965. This is true. We see that on a federal level. That is definitely happening. This act creates statewide protections against voter suppression and vote dilution. Key components of Section 2, said Minority Leader Harold Jones III of Augusta. It also creates a pre-clearance mechanism to ensure vote dilutions plans by local jurisdictions never move forward. Other specific aspects of the legislation ensures that public notice must be given for new or modified election changes on local or state levels, and it will make sure that voters do not face impediments to voting. The bill is called the Henry McNeil Turner Georgia Voting Rights Act. Woo, what a name. Named after a Reconstruction era Black Republican legislator and faith leader who was expelled from the legislature with other African American representatives in 1868. We named this bill for him because the lesson of our era is not ancient history. It's really not. I talk about this all the time. We're very similar to those people back then. We think we're like so much further ahead, or we think we're so much smarter, which of course we're not. I don't know why people think we, I guess in a general sense, we probably are a bit more aware, but there's so much misinformation out there that I think thinking that we are more aware would be a mistake and naive to the amount of misinformation out there. The fight over who counts, whose vote matters, and who gets to participate has never fully been stopped. Turner's legacy is a reminder that voting rights is not self-enforcing. If we do not build protections in the law, those protections can be chipped away. It was Prostate Cancer Awareness Day at the Capitol. Former Chicago Cubs outfielder and Atlanta native C.J. Stewart spoke about the importance of routine screenings, something many men seem to avoid. If you're a man, hear me clearly. Make the call, schedule the screening, get checked, stay alive. And if you love a man, don't just pray for him. Don't just worry about him. Don't hope he's okay. Push him, challenge him, hold him accountable, because love ought to look like something. And today, love looks like a prostate screening. This is a little dramatic. But awesome. Yeah, so that's what they up to. They ain't up to much. But that voting rights bill is important. That's a mouthful of a bill, though. The Henry McNeil Turner Georgia Voting Rights Act. Henry McNeil Turner. I'm going to have to look him up. We're going to have to do some research on that guy. But moving on. All right, moving on to Social Circle, y'all. They got the plans out. Look at this. This is the plan. The first floor plan. I'm guessing these are the cells, basketball courts, maybe. I'm not sure what those are. I'm not going to assume that those are basketball courts. They might be holding cells or something. They got seats on the side. I don't know. Let's see if we can zoom in. Cafeteria, kitchen, food preparation. Let's say gun range. You gonna put a gun range in the kitchen? or not, well, beside the kitchen, warehouse, security room, training room, processing, court interface. That's wild. Laundry, multi-purpose room, multi-purpose room. This is wild. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. So this is just a detention room right here. Where are the bathrooms at, yo? This is crazy looking. This looks like a concentration camp, yo. It really does. That's incredible. This looks like a concentration camp. Yo, this is wild. Anyway, man, let's see what it says. Documents shared by the DHS with leaders in the town of Social Circle describe a new national model for immigration detention. The documents were posted by the city of Social Circle after its long-awaited one-on-one conversation with DHS about the future of a warehouse DHS recently bought for $128 million. The plans describe how Social Circle Warehouse will become one of a number of hubs across the country with capacities of at least 8,500 people in a nationwide hub and spokes system. The spokes would be more like the 1,500 capacity center planned in the city of Oakwood in Hall County. And these two detention centers are not that far away, y'all. Like, I think Oakwood is maybe like 20 miles north of Social Circle. So these places are pretty close. After people are funneled from the outlying spokes, they will be concentrated in the hubs. Hub detentions are planned to be short, a maximum of 2 months before deportation. DHS describes the aim of the system as speeding up international departures. Savvy Savvy RV runs the ICE flight monitor for the group Human Rights First. She said the pace of ICE deportations spiked last year, and many of the deported were hurried out of the country without exercising their rights of due process. For instance, a federal judge in Georgia's Middle District Court recently issued a standing order to make ICE comply with court decisions meant to give immigration detainees bond hearings. The focus on speed is extremely concerning, she said. If they're trying to speed up this process even further, it's only going to extremely exacerbate the due process violations, the separation of families, also the conditions in detention centers. What DHS calls their ICE detention re-engineering initiative is aimed to add 24,000 beds to the system by the fall, a 30% increase over current levels. In their post on their official website, Social Circle leaders said DHS told them the further aim is to reduce the number of total detention centers nationally from 300 to 34. Let's see. Social Circle leaders also still contend that city utilities cannot accommodate the detention center. Its plans include on-site wastewater treatment and special cisterns meant to cache local drinking water at night during off-peak hours. Arve said that as the program ramps up, she will be watching to see which airports see an increase in ICE flights, whether flying between detention centers or for international deportations. The new system will be paid for by $38 billion from the One Big Bogus Bill Act. One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Yes, this is concerning. I think the citizens are right here. The local leaders are right here. The wastewater treatment, I don't think that's going to be enough. Also, the local drinking water is super important. Social Circle already doesn't have enough water to between the residents. They hit right at the peak every single summer of drinking water. So it's gonna be interesting. We'll keep an eye out on that. It's interesting to see the whole setup there. Very strange. All right, last one. Airlines cancel flights in and out of parts of Mexico, impacting flights at Hartsfield Jackson. The cancellation comes following unrest in parts of Mexico after Mexico said its military killed a powerful cartel leader. Airlines are canceling some flights. I already read that. Let's go down to the info. Delta Airlines wrote on its website, due to civil unrest in the state of Jalisco, Mexico, travel to, from, or through the destinations listed below may be affected. Okay. The U.S. Embassy is warning Americans in several locations throughout Mexico, including the state of Jalisco, Cancun, and Riviera Maya, to shelter in place. Lori Stevens, owner of CEO Sojourny Travel, has several clients in the Riviera Maya area right now, so she's closely watching what unfolds. We watch all the airlines. We have connections with the airlines, so we listen for any information from the airlines as far as cancellations go, and making adjustments to our clients' schedules as needed, Stevens said. But thankfully, as far as we know, there's not a lot of activity going on in the Riviera Maya area yet, but we are monitoring it almost hourly. Stevens recommends travelers enroll in State Department STEP program, which sends safety alerts and helps the embassy contact you in an emergency. Interesting. So there's a lot going on in Mexico right now, and Hartsfield Jackson is having cancellations because of it. So if you're flying out of Atlanta, just keep that in mind. All right. Whew, that was a lot, y'all. We're gonna get to this music. Oh man, gonna get to this music. I'm excited to start the musical portion of this broadcast, and I hope you guys are as well. I'm always excited to start the musical portion of the broadcast. If you like anything that I do, then hit the like button, please, or follow up. But anyway, let's get to it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That went well. All right. So put this down twice right here. And we're going to have this guy on the end as a tag. Let's review the damage. Yeah, let's do something like that. Keep it simple. All right, I'm about to throw all this in the mixer. And I think I'm officially ready to try to map some of this out. And I'm not quite sure about this rim shot. But, you know, honestly, I bet you if I give it a little bit more oomph right here, I bet you it won't sound that bad. Maybe give it a little bit of reverb. A little bit, a little bit. My rain might be still a bit too harsh, man. Want it to be very subtle. Yeah. Simple. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, I was supposed to do that next section. I still can. I think I still can. I just gotta start it there. Hold on. Well, my friends, that's all I've got for you today. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love you all. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. Make sure you take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and I will check y'all out tomorrow. Love y'all very much. Peace.